down 48% in 2022. Is Nvidia stock a buy for 2023? I'm going to answer that question in this video, so let's get right into it. The first thing I want to look at in evaluating Nvidia's stock is its revenue growth going all the way back to 2014. And this is quarterly revenue growth year over year. And looking back, we see a fluctuating business. And most recently, we see revenue growth significantly declining and decreased 16.5% in its most recent quarter. The current headwinds include the fact that consumers bought so many electronics during the earlier stages of the pandemic that they are now spending their money on away from home experiences like restaurants and travel and things like that. And inventories of Nvidia's graphic processing units are elevated throughout all of its channels, and so revenue is decelerating right now, and management expects the headwinds to persist for at least another quarter, and we don't know how long this is going to go. So this is not good news for Nvidia stock investors. The next thing I want to look at is Nvidia's operating margin, again going back all the way before 2014, and at least until the most recent quarter, what I could see is a steady upward trend in its operating profit margin. Of course, there's fluctuations because of the seasonality of the business and the cyclicality of the business, but overall in the long term you can draw a nice little line there showing an upward trend of operating profit margin. And of course, in its most recent quarter, that crashed significantly because of its reduction in sales revenue, and also it's needing to slash prices and offer discounts to sell some of this inventory. So gross profit margin and operating profit margin has contracted, and it will probably remain contracted for several quarters more. But longer term, I expect Nvidia's operating profit margin and gross profit margin to rebound to its long run trend line in upward. It creates these difficult to replicate tech hardware products, and they're highly in demand. Its industries that it operates in are all growing rapidly, and that growth is expected to persist for 5, 10, 15 years. So all of the long run trends are working in Nvidia's favor, even though the short run trends are working against it right now. The next thing I want to look at is Nvidia's cash flow from operations, and going back to 2014 again, and similar to its operating profit margin, I see a nice upward trend here, except in its most recent few quarters where the crashing sales prices has brought its cash flow from operations down. But still, it was in positive territory at 392 million despite its crashing prices. Again, a similar story here with everything else. Near term, these cash flow from operations are going to be pressured, but longer term, I expect that upward trend to continue for Nvidia. The final thing I will look at to determine if Nvidia's stock is a buy for 2023 is its valuation, using the metrics price to earnings ratio and price to free cash flow. And looking at its price to earnings of 64, it's near the higher end of its range going all the way back to before 2014, and similar to price to free cash flow at 79, at the higher end of its range going back before 2014. And on absolute terms, these are expensive valuations, also not just in relative terms. So relatively speaking, the stock is expensive, and absolutely speaking, the stock is expensive. And especially considering the near-term headwinds that the company faces, I would not want to be paying these types of premium valuations for Nvidia stock right now. So to answer the question, is Nvidia stock a buy for 2023? At these valuations, I'm going to say no. No, the stock is not a buy for 2023. I would wait for further declines in the stock price, or for some of these headwinds to run their course and return to steady, healthy top and bottom line growth. All right, so that's all I've got for this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.